When the world is too much, how to find your footing when everything feels overwhelming. Last night, I watched 4 humans leave Earth. Not metaphorically, and not on film. Actually leave. Strapped into a spacecraft called Orion, sitting on top of a rocket at Kennedy Space Center in Florida, and then after the controlled 10, 9, 8, 7, 3, 2, 1 countdown, off they thundered into the sky, heading towards the moon, with the kind of power that makes your chest and stomach do strange things, let alone your bladder. It's pretty significant. It's the first crewed lunar mission in over 53 years. 4 astronauts, a commander, a pilot, 2 mission specialists, and on this mission, for the first time in over half a century of human spaceflight, a woman, a black astronaut, and a Canadian travelling not just to orbit, but to the vicinity of the moon itself. The moon. You know, the things humans last visited in 1972, not the one made of cheese or where Elvis lives. And I felt it. I really felt it. You know, the kind of awe that catches you a little bit off guard. I felt my throat tightening, my eyes a little watery. I held my breath, and suddenly I was very aware that I was witnessing something that matters so much to so many humans. For about 30 seconds, everything and anything felt possible. And then, almost immediately, something else crept in. Guilt, conflict, a kind of heaviness. Because at the same moment that 4 humans were hurtling towards the moon on a rocket named Orion, the rest of the world was doing what it always does. Mindless wars, pure hatred, utter deception, unbelievable cruelty, barbaric violence. The slow, grinding depravity that fills our news feeds, our radio waves, our WhatsApp conversations, and our morning coffee scrolls. The footage you wish you hadn't seen and the headlines that sit with you emotionally for days. And I couldn't help noticing that with a complicated mix of pride and sadness, that so much of both the best and the worst of what's happening in the world right now seems to flow from the same source: men. With extraordinary power, intelligence and resource, some choosing to use it to push humanity forward, others not. Some who we thought were one thing revealing themselves to be quite another. That contrast sat with me last night more than I expected it to. How do you hold on to all of that at once? How do you let yourself feel the wonder of the launch without feeling obscene given everything else? I didn't have a clear answer last night, and I'm not sure I do this morning either. But I do know something that helps. Aside from a huge hug with my dog Elfie this morning, whilst shedding a little tear, I wanted to share this with you. The world is not your responsibility to fix, but it is your responsibility to engage with it. There's a framework I come back to again and again, both in my own life and in my work with clients. It's called circles of control. Developed originally, I believe, by Stoic philosophers thousands of years ago, but later popularised by the late Stephen Covey. And it looks like this. 3 circles inside each other. Imagine a sort of archery target. At the centre is your circle of control, filled with the things you can directly influence. Your thoughts, your choices, your actions, your response to what happens, how you treat people, what you give your energy to. Around that centre circle is your circle of influence, the things you can't control directly but can affect. Your relationships, your community, the way you show up at work, the organisations and causes you choose to support, the conversations you're willing to have. And around that, the outside circle, vast, overwhelming, relentless, this is your circle of concern, or in other words, often referred to as no control. Everything you care about but cannot control. Wars, political decisions, natural disasters, the state of the world, other people's choices, the news, the weather, global health, etc. But the thing most of us do without realising it, We spend enormous amounts of emotional and mental energy living in that outer circle where we have no control, consumed by things we care deeply about but can do nothing about today. In doing this, we shrink the inner circles, the places where we could actually make a difference. The result is that paralysing feeling, the constant overwhelm, even the guilt for feeling joy when the world is in such a tragic state, the exhaustion of carrying things that were never ours to carry alone. What last night taught me. Watching the Artemis 2 launch wasn't an act of ignoring the world's suffering. It was an act of acknowledging and remembering what humans are also capable of. I genuinely think we need that right now, desperately. Not as escapism, not as hope, but as a reminder, as evidence. To know that the same species capable of extraordinary cruelty is also capable of extraordinary courage, collaboration, and wonder. Holding both those truths at once isn't a contradiction, it's wisdom. And we know that it is possible for two things to be true at once. The launch happened inside my circle of concern. I couldn't control it. I didn't make it happen. I was just grateful to witness it. So is most of the world's suffering. Whilst it is real, important, and of course worthy of my care and some of my attention, it is not mine to fix alone, and not helped by me collapsing under the weight of it. What is in my circles, the ones I can actually do something with, is how I respond. The things I can try and influence, and the things I can definitely control. What I do with that feeling. Who I show up for today. What small human act of decency, connection, or courage I choose in my own small corner of the world. The small things I can do around me to make a difference. Even just speaking about this openly and honestly plays a small role. That's not nothing. It means something. 3 practical things worth trying. If any of this is resonating, and it doesn't have to be a rocket launch that triggered it for you, it might be something closer to home, a family situation that feels impossible, a workplace that's draining you, a community you're watching struggle, or yes, the relentless weight of the news. Whatever it is that's been making you feel simultaneously overwhelmed, guilty, anxious, and somehow responsible for the things way beyond your reach, these 3 things won't fix any of it. But they might help you find your footing again, and from there you can actually do something, which is more than overwhelm ever allows you to do. Number 1, do a circles audit. Take a piece of paper, write down the things that are currently taking up the most space in your head and your emotional energy. Then honestly ask yourself, which circle does each one actually live in? Then notice where you are spending your time and energy. You might be surprised how much you're carrying from the outer circle. Remember the circle of concern or no control? And how much energy you're not giving to the inner ones where you genuinely have power. Circle of influence and circle of control. Number 2, find your anchors. When the world feels too loud and too heavy, what brings you back into your own circle? For some people, it's movement, perhaps a walk, maybe a run, or something physical that returns them to their own body. For others, it's creativity or nature or a specific person who helps them feel grounded. Get to know yours. Ensure you return to them deliberately, not as avoidance, not to stick your head in the sand, but as restoration. You cannot engage with the world meaningfully when you're running on empty. Number 3, let yourself feel the wonder. This one matters more than it sounds. If something moves you, like a rocket launch, a piece of music, a view in front of you, a child laughing, a hug with your dog, a remarkable act of human kindness or courage, let it move you. Don't immediately cancel it out with guilt because the world is also suffering. Remember what I said. 2 things can be true at the same time. joy and grief can coexist. Awe and sadness can coexist. Letting yourself feel wonder isn't a betrayal of those who are suffering. It's part of what keeps you human enough to care about them. Please hold on to that. A final thought. Right now, as I write this, 4 humans are somewhere above the Earth heading towards the moon in a spacecraft called Orion. I wonder what thoughts the view is sparking for them. I'm sure we'll get to hear soon. Also right now, in countless places across the world, people are doing quiet, unglamorous, essential acts of kindness, courage and decency that nobody will ever make a documentary about. Again, both of those things are true simultaneously. I keep thinking about William Shatner, the original Captain Kirk himself, who actually went to space in 2021. He'd spent nearly 60 years dreaming about it and many years pretending to be there. He expected elation, wonder, catharsis, yet what he got stopped him in his tracks. He described it as amongst the strongest feelings of grief he had ever encountered, looking back at the fragile, beautiful Earth and feeling contrast between its warmth and the cold emptiness of space. My trip to space was supposed to be a celebration, he wrote. Instead, it felt like a funeral. He looked back at Earth, this tiny, luminous, fragile thing, and he saw it differently. It's a little tiny rock with an onion skin air around it, he said. That's how fragile it all is. We hang by a thread, the jewel we live on, that we so easily forget to notice. There's actually a name for what he experienced, the overview effect. That profound shift in perspective that comes with seeing our home from a distance. But it did eventually give him something back, a sense of hope and fierce renewed conviction about what matters. I think that's what I felt a little of last night, watching the launch from my sofa in considerably less dramatic circumstances. You don't have to fix the broken parts of the world today, but you do get to choose in your own circle, in your own life, what kind of human you're going to be in it. That's not a small thing, and it might just be the whole thing. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realise this and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. And from me, Zoe. My challenge to you and to myself is this: to go boldly, to show up as the most human version of yourself you can manage today, the kind that makes your soul shine and reminds someone else that theirs can too. Mindset Moments blog by Zoe Schofield Coaching, April 2026. Read by Zoe Louise Schofield.